Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brandon, your trusted realtor, and I want to spend some time talking about the real estate market. We all see that it's changed and we must get used to the place that we're in and accept it. But more importantly, it's key that we understand what we're dealing with and how this market is different from other markets that we've experienced. Now, as a realtor, one of the first questions that I get is how is the market and how is it performing? Which is an enormously broad topic, and believe it or not, it varies based on who's asking the question. And here's the reason why. First of all, you specifically. You could be a renter, a first-time home buyer, a seller, or looking for your second home. Second, your price point. Real estate performs differently based on your particular price point. And then also location. Three, this makes a lot of difference and it influences a host of other factors like schools and work commute, etc. The short answer is that you should just buy now, right? That's the answer in a perfect world. So when we begin to tackle a shift in the market, how you're currently positioned in life makes all of the difference. Now let's dive into our market specifically. The market is still competitive and is entering a more balanced environment. We quickly forget that just 25 or so years ago, interest rates were in the teens with a lower rate of appreciation than we have now. So think about it. Circa 2007, 2008, there was a run up in the number of homes being built, creating a surplus of homes that were in the market. Vastly different than what we are having or experiencing today. Additionally, getting a loan back then was like the Wild West, meaning that loans were being made to individuals that would not qualify for them today by today's standards and ultimately meet the profile for potential foreclosure. But without any regulations then, many lenders took advantage of that and of those people who are less informed. So we find ourselves in 2010 when the real estate bubble crashed because of all of the risky loans and investments that were created by banks. Today, there's significantly more regulations and laws that create protections. In fact, just prior to COVID, real estate was seeing positive home value appreciation around the DC area of 8% or more for most of these areas. That underscores the reason even more that we saw limited foreclosures in this overall geographic region. So it becomes more clear that real estate is an economic engine for stabilization. Now, add on inflation and the question you have to ask is what instrument will allow a more positive return on your growth as it relates to money. Now, historically, owning a home or buying a second home has been the best move to park your money or even your home's equity. Now, real estate is a local commodity. So it's important that I narrow this discussion to DC, Maryland, and Virginia. You've heard me say this before, that the DMV is considered insulated from recession. The idea being that homes here are the seat of government. There's an abundance of military installations and high-paying jobs, several multinational corporations that here, and it's a transient city. People are attracted here, they visit and they live. That forces people and gives us a solid bedrock against insulation. Now, the resulting impact is that home prices are factor-based. That means that there are a host of factors that are going to impact whether home prices increase or decrease. Typically in our region, home prices increase, and this is shown historically. If you look at the real estate market, let's say going back to the 1800s to 2010, every about 18 years or so, our market adjusts, and that happens based on local, regional, and global factors. So hopefully this has helped you to significantly identify what type of market we're in with respect to the question you specifically. Now let's answer that. If you are a renter, renters continue to see increases in their rents. Rents have seen or should see increases up to 20%, nearly $300 or more. Two, perspective matters. If you're in a high cost area and you're thinking about your total annual commitment, in DC, the minimum rent price is about $2,200. That's $26,400 a year. That's what you're giving to your landlord, right? Many down payment and closing cost assistance programs exist to help you fill that gap. Also, three, it's a cost burden. While the cost may, depending on your price point for rentals, may be lower for you to rent a property, inevitably long term, it is a much higher and significant cost for you to be a renter. Finally, I leave renters with this thought. Of all the checks that you will write this month, which one will go towards an appreciating asset? If there's one consumer decision that you can make today that will increase your happiness, wouldn't it be the home that you live in? Now, the next group is first-time home buyers. If you're in this mindset, this is a great place to be in because you've already taken the first step. Inventory is picking up, so that puts you at a heightened advantage to be able to look at these balancing prices, and you are in a position where you can think, shop, and be competitive as it relates to really truly processing what this transaction means. What does that mean is that you can also begin to understand how interest rates are going to clearly impact your monthly payment and those increases. We all know that the same house 18 months or 12 months ago is completely, well, actually more like 4 months ago, it's completely different in price per month than what we are experiencing today. That means that first-time home buyers are understanding and taking advantage of this unique environment, and they're putting themselves in a place of positioning to create value versus appreciation. They're taking advantage of the value that they are uniquely in with slightly lower interest rates than what our country is historically used to, and banking on the fact that our region has historically experienced appreciation year over year, time over time. Even in times where from the 1800s to the 2010, where we see every 18 years or so that home prices are decreasing, that doesn't mean home prices in our area are bottoming out. Rather, this is an opportunity for buyers to invest and benefit from future appreciation they'll receive. Now, sellers, price your home correctly. Now, the average agent will print out a CMA, a market analysis, and show you it. But the days of listing a home and people flocking to it and getting the highest and best price requires skill of a talented real estate professional. So make sure you're not chasing the market. 2, get a consultation. What people want in a home is changing and has changed ever since the pandemic. So it's important that you're emphasizing those things and you know your local market. Remember, I said that real estate is a local commodity, so make sure you're staying on brand and on trend. 3rd, equity analysis. Selling your home is one option, but there may be other ways for you to skin that cat. For example, if your home has doubled in value, then maybe consider doing a 1031 exchange and defer taxes to level up to an equitable price property. Or set an appointment with me or a lender to determine how much equity you have in your home, and then we can put together a plan where you keep your current home and buy another home. Now, this is also a good segue into the next class of individuals, those people who have a second home or they have loads of equity. It's important to establish what's your goal. It depends on what your property needs are, and that doesn't mean I'm going to refuse to sell a property to you. It just means that your motivations for wanting to get a second home is important. If for an investor, we'll look at a duplex or some type of multifamily option. If we're estate planning, how do we set things up so that those who are supposed to benefit can benefit? If it's commercial, maybe you have an Airbnb or a bed and breakfast in your future, right? The list goes on of possibilities. Then location. It makes a difference because we want to purchase in an area that's performing for investors. We want properties that we can capitalize the return on your investment while being well positioned for long-term appreciation for the future value. Next is inflation fears. Hedging yourself means that you want to take your money out of the bank where it will earn you little or nothing, and having the option to purchase a multifamily property would be a perfect solution. This type of strategy would also apply to the homeowner that has been in their property for 15 or 20 years, and now they see that they have $300,000 or $400,000 plus dollars in equity, and they have no idea what to do with it. A great example in this scenario is that for either type of those investors or those individuals, you could purchase $1 million property. To enter into that $1 million transaction, your down payment and closing costs would be close to $230,000 for a 4-unit building. Now, if you allocated $10,000 for improvements, that's what I would want, and we aim to get you rents at $2,200, this building is now cash flowing $8,800 a month. That means that your $5,700 purchase leaves you a net cash flow of $3,100 a month. In a year, that total cash is $105,600 for those 4 units. That means that you have a 16% return on that initial $230,000 investment that you made, significantly more than leaving that money in the bank. These are incremental steps to answer the question on what it looks like in our current market. You shouldn't expect that we're going to see a high influx or high volume or foreclosures. We shouldn't expect that we'll see significant destabilizations in our market. The market forces, as far as what has been done to prepare our ecosystem via regulations and making sure the right individuals are approved for a home, are in place. The question now becomes is how do you now position yourself in this current market to be the most advantageous, even though we may be experiencing a recession? Now, remember, if you're watching this and you're outside of the DC, Maryland, Virginia location, always remember that real estate is a local commodity and to partner with a local real estate agent. If you don't know someone that you trust, reach out to me here either in the comments or DM me on my Instagram account at bscottrealtor, and I'll be more than happy to connect you with a local resource. My name is Brandon Scott, and I hope this has been invaluable to you in understanding the market and where we are now. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.